Oh, I don't have Final Cut on my laptop. Let me.
Um, Welcome to Someone Six Sports Blizzard, and today's my guest is Joe Miller.
What's going on, my man? How are you?
Doing good. I'm ready to talk some football, and
Me too.
um, what do you think of the new rookie Coleman?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what to think. There's an aspect of, when you lose a guy like Stephon Diggs, right, who is a dominant number one wide receiver. Um, and there was an expectation that the Bills would take somebody in the first, and they didn't. You pretty much assume they wanted Brian Thomas Jr., right? And the Jags took him. So then it turned into what do we do? And they very smartly moved back and took Keon Coleman in the second versus wasting a first round pick on him. However, you just got to wonder, how effective is the second round pick going to be? But of all the positions that are out there, wide receiver and usually running back are those ones that like you can get a good guy right later. You don't have to have a first round guy. So I've got a lot of expectation, but it's a little what's the word? I'm a little apprehensive. We'll see, I guess is where I'm at. We'll see. I hope he pans out great, but we'll see.
Um, what do you like? Dalton Kincaid and Knox. Do you think they're gonna do like a 12 personnel plays?
It seems like the Bills have wanted to be in 12 personnel in the offense for some time. Um, when you remember when OJ Howard was here for training camp, they were really kind of looking at that 12 personnel with OJ Howard and Dawson Knox, and OJ Howard didn't really pan out. So the Bills ended up cutting him and then kind of pivoted. So I would expect to see a lot of 12 personnel from this group. It's hard to keep two guys like Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid off the field, which I think you would agree with, right? Like they're two of our better players.
Yeah, and like Khalil Shakir and uh like James Cook. I think
Mm.
James Cook would be.
It'll be interesting to see how the Bills use the weapons they have. Khalil Shakir is a guy that's on the rise. He's a good football player. Is he Stephon Diggs? No, but there's an opportunity there. Like there's a window, right, for somebody to kind of climb through to kind of take that spot. And then James Cook is just if he can clean up the issues he had with his pass catching. I mean, he was what, fourth in the league last year, I think, in rushing yards. So he's got the rushing part of it. So he's got the ground game is there. So he's just got to clean up some of that pass catching stuff. But between him and Khalil, I mean, they should be solid this year, buddy.
What was your thoughts on the Diggs trade to Houston?
Oh, the last post that I made before overreaction began with me, John, and Jerry was that Stephon Diggs was going nowhere, that he was staying in Buffalo simply due to the size of his cap hit, which at that time was $29 million, of which the Bills would have to basically take on a $31 million cap hit to remove him, which means release him, trade him. have him not on this roster. So I was wildly surprised when that news broke. And then even more surprised when Vox Media decided that they were shutting down the entire Buffalo Rumblings podcast group, which was like the day after. But completely surprised, floored, couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that the Bills were willing to take that $31 million cap hit. Yeah, unbelievably surprised. So I would imagine you were too, right?
Yeah, when that broke, I thought the Bills were in trouble or something
Right?
because they had that money all, towards him.
Yeah, so much, a ton of money. It's a big number.
Do you think he'll like be good in Houston?
I think Stephon Diggs is poised to probably have a career season in Houston. So Stephon Diggs is going to come out of the gate probably about as hot as he did the first year he was in Buffalo. So he is not, as many have said, lost a step. I don't feel now. Is he older? Yes, he's in his 30s, but I don't think he's lost a step. I don't think the cliff has found him yet. I think there were other things at play as it pertains to his production level in Buffalo. So I would expect him to have a 14 or 1500-yard season this year in Houston and be extremely, extremely valuable to their offense. Now, next year, who knows? But this year, he's got something to prove.
What do you think of Joe Brady like in his first full season being there?
We'll see. I mean, he obviously has a lot more opportunity to make it his own system versus what happened last year, where he kind of came in halfway through the season, and was basically playing the cards that somebody else was dealt. So this year, win, pass, or fail. I mean, depending on how it goes, it's going to be all on Joe Brady. But he has made a pretty good comment when he says things like, he has the easiest job in the world because his quarterback is Josh Allen. So it's going to be about him fitting his system to Josh Allen versus trying to fit Josh Allen to his system. If he can do that, then I think he's going to be potentially very successful, right?
Yeah, and like with all the weapons they have, they could.
Mm. Yeah, the concern is definitely not on offense with this team. The concern is very much on defense. The offense is, we talked about it last night on the Big O show, Jerry Ostrowski's show, that we've all kind of resolved ourselves to the fact that Connor McGovern is going to play center and probably do okay. Like we've all basically settled in on this notion that a guy that's not really taking any snaps at center in the NFL is going to basically play center and be good. So I would expect, as a lot of us have, that the offense is going to be good. If there's going to be a hiccup on this team, it's going to be on defense, right? So Joe Brady is probably going to do okay. The question is can they score enough points, right, to cover that defense? That's going to be the question.
Is Sean McDermott still calling the defense?
We haven't heard. Unless you know something I don't know, we have not heard yet. So I'm not completely sure. That remains to be seen. And Bobby Babich basically said that if he's called upon to do that, he's as ready as he could possibly be, having never done it before. But I would expect Sean McDermott to call the defense again this year. That defense was better last year with Sean McDermott calling it. I think Sean McDermott knows that, and I would expect that he will. But we haven't heard.
Do you think DeMar Hamlin would be a day one starter with all his experience?
That's gonna be tough. There's an opportunity there for him to basically become the day one starter. I like Damar Hamlin. If you remove all of the drama, and you put all that aside, just the situation that happened in Cincinnati when he died effectively on the field, and basically the rehab and the comeback and all that kind of stuff. If you remove all of that stuff, that situation, I like Damar Hamlin as a player. I'm just not sure that he's going to be better than Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop at this point. In my mind, if I had to guess, he's going to be probably a second stringer.
Do you think they would use him like on special teams?
Well, special teams, yes, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens on special teams, right? Because of all the rule changes this year with the kickoffs and whatnot. So I think we're all going to be interestingly surprised, kind of at what happens this year on special teams. So the punt stuff will be the punt stuff, but the kick return or the kickoffs and the kick return will be interesting. But hopefully they don't try to, you know, fake punt it to him on a snap again, because that didn't go so well against Kansas City. That's for sure. So let's not do that again.
Yeah. Do you How do you think Josh Allen's season will be with Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator?
That's a really great question. I don't completely know what to expect. I feel like the offense was more efficient with Joe Brady than it was with Ken Dorsey last year. After Ken Dorsey got fired, obviously the offense got better. However, with the offense getting better and using the run game more, they basically eliminated Stephon Diggs, their best weapon from the offense. I can't imagine a situation where you're going to do that again this year. So they're going to have to spread the ball around. They're going to have to find a guy to be the guy, because most offenses need that. Even with that, Josh Allen is going to be Josh Allen. He's going to have his rushing yards. He's going to have his rushing touchdowns. He's going to have his passing yards. He's going to have his passing touchdowns. I think Josh Allen is going to have a good year. Will it be his best year? I don't know. Will it be his worst year? I don't think so. I think we found his floor, and I'm still not sure we found his ceiling yet.
Do the Bills have a second running back to James Cook?
Well, obviously Ray Davis is the guy they drafted. I like Ty Johnson, and then Frank Gore Jr. Is an interesting conversation. Whether or not he can play, we're going to find out in preseason. We'll see, right? I don't know that I have necessarily that answer. We're about to find out here in about a week and a half when practice starts. As far as that goes, that's probably one of the bigger question marks on this team from a depth standpoint, is who is going to back up James Cook. I would have to guess it's Ray Davis or Ty Johnson, and that Frank Gore is a long shot. But anybody with a name like Frank Gore, it's hard to count him out, right? I mean, Frank Gore did some pretty incredible things. Frank Gore Sr. And his son, they say, is basically cut after the same cloth that his dad is. So we'll see.
Someone says Josh Allen is a good golfer also.
I think you know who that person is. Roberta Snyder. You got to know who that person is.
I couldn't see it.
From everything we've been told, yes, he's a pretty good golfer. I've never seen him play golf. Well, I guess I watched the match the one time. But yeah, he's a pretty good golfer for sure.
And my one friend Josh says,
Josh,
Ray Davis, baby, he says.
gotta love it. Gotta love it.
And then he says Ray is older he'll be playing lots as he's already in his prime.
We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the move into the NFL is easier for running backs than almost any other position. But it's still a jump, right, from college to the NFL. So we'll see. It very well could be. Ray Davis could come out and be great. He could also come out and kind of be a bust. We'll see.
What did you think of the trade between Edmonton and Buffalo when Matt Savoy went over to Edmonton and we got Ryan McLeod?
I don't know Ryan McLeod well. Clearly, he has a championship pedigree. He's won a Stanley Cup. He also is a young player. He's a center. He's got a great face-off percentages. You know more about hockey than I do as far as that goes, but it seems like a move that betters this hockey team. However, I would say about the Sabres that there's probably still some moves that need to be made. I don't know that he's the answer. Would you agree with that? That he's not necessarily like, oh, there we go. Like Jeff Skinner's gone. Now we got that guy. We're good to go. It seems like the Sabres need a little bit more help, don't you think?
I think they're missing like one or two pieces on defense, I think, and I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. They probably need another goal scorer. I mean, it's hard to replace a goal scorer like Jeff Skinner. As selfish and of a player as he was, it's hard to replace. It's hard to replace those points, right? Those scores, those goals, those points.
Yeah. And like we got the goalie tandem, but now you just have to find the goal scoring and
Yep. 100%. You're right.
do we have 3 quarterbacks for the preseason?
Well, there are. I mean, it's Josh, Mitch Trubisky, and I can't remember who the last guy is. Depth chart as I Google it. The third guy is definitely not making the team. 100% not making the team. Shane Buechele. I'm not exactly sure who he is. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bills find. I mean, he's 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. He's out of SMU. It's hard for me to believe that he ends up being the third string quarterback on this football team. But the Bills don't exactly have a lot of money, so they'll probably wait. If I had to guess, to see who gets cut, like if a Matt Barkley ends up on the street, and then they'll throw some practice squad money at Matt Barkley versus keeping a 6-foot dude on the roster. I can't see that guy hanging on the team. Like it just seems a little hard to believe.
How many games do you think the Bills will win this season?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I have no idea. Probably in that 10 to 12 range. I expect them to win the East. Probably in that 10 to 12 range. So it would be my guess. What do you think?
I would say like 11 to 12 because the Jets, that
they could be good. The Jets could be good.
That's the one team that's like out there for me, like is the Jets because of their defense.
Yeah, agreed. Well, their offense is pretty good too if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. Their offense is very dangerous if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. But yeah, they could be a very good team.
Do you think the Jets are the main opponent?
They're one of them. That roster probably scares me more than the Dolphins. But the Dolphins, until the Jets step up and beat them, the Dolphins are the team to beat in the East. You know, they're the ones nipping at the heels of the Buffalo Bills for sure. That offense is going to score a lot of points. The Dolphins' offense. The defense is going to struggle, but the offense is going to be good.
And like with the Jets, they got Sauce Gardner on their team.
Super good dude. Yeah, and Quinn Williams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the Jets coach?
I think he's on the hot seat. I think if they don't win 10 games this season, I think he's gone. So I think he's going to be fired. I think Robert Saleh is a potentially good dude and a good coach. But he's hamstrung right now with Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers plays, that team could win 10 to 12 games. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, they'll probably win 4. So it's an interesting situation for him because his whole entire fate depends on Aaron Rodgers.
What do you think of Connor McGovern being a center?
I don't have any thoughts. I started out with some thoughts at the beginning of the offseason when the Bills cut Mitch Morse. But John Fina and Jerry Ostrowski and a whole bunch of other people have told me that Connor McGovern could slide into that role and do a pretty good job. So at this point, I'm just going to trust the process. But I don't really have a whole lot of opinion. I'm a very wait and see kind of guy. We're going to wait and see. I will say this: if he's successful making the transition to center, which he feels and has said is his natural position. If he's successful, the Bills are going to have a good year. If he is not successful, the Bills are in a lot of trouble. That's what I would say.
Do you think the Bills are in trouble on special teams, or are they okay so far?
I have no idea. To be honest with you, I don't know what the kickoff and the kick return game is going to look like. So they're going to find a punt returner in there somewhere. And you know, the kicking game remains to be seen. We have no idea what to expect this year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be different, but it's hard to judge, you know, what that special teams role is going to look like this year for the Bills, in my opinion.
Where could my viewers find your content plus John Fina and Jerry O?
Well, the only people, I mean, let's be honest, the only people that they want to really listen to is John Fina and Jerry O. As I put up the background. I want to go this way. So literally, if you search Overreaction Buff, BUF or BUFF on any platform, you will find John Fina and Jerry Ostrowski's content, as well as mine. But basically, Overreaction Sports, we're about to launch a website, overreactionbuffalo.com. We're actually hoping it would go live today. It looks like it might be going live tomorrow. But yeah, any podcast platform that you're on, any vidcast network, Overreaction Buff, you'll find all the content with me, John Fina, and Jerry Ostrowski. And then you can find me on Twitter, as it says on the screen right now, at Joe Miller Wired. No, 2020, 2026. They had 2 more years in that stadium. 2026 is when the new stadium is supposed to open. Sorry, I got ahead of you.
and they, I see they got the beams going up over at the new stadium.
Yeah, it's going up quick. It's going up quick. Yeah, but 2026. The first season will be 2026. I appreciate that. I don't think I rule, but thank you. I appreciate that. Make me blush.
And like what days are your shows?
So we are working on going every day. Right now we're doing 3 days a week, but we're about to start every day. So right now we have the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Show on Sunday nights, which drops as a podcast on Monday. And then when the season starts, Off Tackle with John Fina will be up again on Mondays. The On the Beat program will be live on Tuesdays. Hump Day Hotline with Jay Spencer King and myself will return on Wednesdays, which is a show that's been going since 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. It's been going for a long time. And then the Big O Show with Jerry Ostrowski is on Thursday nights. And then we just announced If These Walls Could Talk in Buffalo will be airing on Friday nights.
That's a cool name for a podcast.
Right. And they're two guys that actually used to work for the Bills, actually, when Jerry and John were a part of the team. So they have a lot of like insight and kind of information, like behind the scenes information on what was going on back then. So they're in the know, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Do you have anything to ask me?
No, man, this has been a great conversation. You've run the gamut as far as all the questions. You've hit pretty much all of it. So yeah.
Well, hopefully I can get you back on in the future.
That'd be great. Love to come back on.
Oh.
Jay Spencer King. That's right. He's my guy. He's my dude.
Yeah. I haven't seen him on in a while, so
He's been taking a break. He's been laying a little bit low.
When is your next show?
Sunday night. So Sunday Night Live, and then it will drop as a podcast on Monday morning, about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It was fun having you on the show and being able to talk football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Look forward to it.